Kevin Costner's Dances with Wolves, 1990, was more than just a film. It was a cinematic triumph that redefined the Western genre and won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Its powerful performances and breathtaking storytelling captivated audiences worldwide. But 35 years have passed, and time has brought both triumphs and tragedies to the film's beloved cast. Some actors continue to shine in Hollywood, while others faced hardships, personal struggles, or even heartbreaking losses. As we step into 2025, let's take a look at what has happened to the stars of Dances with Wolves over the past 3.5 decades. Floyd Red Crow Westerman portrayed 10 bears in Dances with Wolves, 1990, at 54, embodying the wisdom and strength of a Sioux leader, a man deeply connected to his heritage and unyielding in his convictions. Off-screen, he was a passionate activist and musician, but his career never brought him true financial stability. Despite his success in Native American rights movements, Hollywood only cast him in stereotypical roles, a painful reminder of the industry's refusal to see him beyond his ethnicity. His personal life was no less turbulent. His marriage was strained by his constant advocacy work, leaving little time for his family. Though he had children, they often felt the absence of a father too, consumed by a battle against systemic injustice. In his later years, illness ravaged his body, yet he continued to perform and fight for his people, even as his strength faded. On December 13, 2007, he succumbed to complications from leukemia at 71. Charles Rocket portrayed Lieutenant Elgin at 41, a disciplined officer whose unwavering demeanor masked underlying uncertainty. A former Saturday Night Live star, Rocket's career was forever marred by an on-air profanity scandal that led to his firing, a humiliation from which he never fully recovered. Though he found steady work in Hollywood, he was never allowed to transcend the label of a disgraced comic, a reality that gnawed at him for years. His marriage to Beth Krellin endured, but those closest to him saw the growing shadows of depression that Hollywood's rejection had left behind. As the roles diminished and his relevance faded, his struggle became unbearable. On October 7, 2005, he was found dead near his home, his throat slit in an apparent suicide at 56, his once bright future having unraveled into a devastating end. Robert Pastorelli played Timmons at 36, the gruff, comedic mule wagon driver whose wit masked his vulnerability, a reflection of his own troubled existence. Rising to fame on Murphy Brown, he seemed destined for a long career, but personal demons soon overshadowed his success. Drug addiction followed him like a specter, leading to erratic behavior that alienated colleagues and cost him roles. His personal life was no less tumultuous. His longtime girlfriend, Chairman Janovich, died from a gunshot wound in their home under circumstances that never fully cleared him of suspicion. Though officially ruled a suicide, the event shattered him, sending him deeper into drug use and self-loathing. Work offers dwindled, and isolation became his only companion. On March 8, 2004, he was found dead of a heroin overdose at 49, his once promising career reduced to a cautionary tale of wasted talent and unresolved grief. Maury Chaykin played Major Fambrough at 41, the erratic and unhinged officer whose instability set the stage for John Dunbar's journey. A beloved character actor, Chaykin had a long career but never achieved mainstream stardom, an unspoken frustration that haunted him. Despite critical acclaim for his roles in films like The Sweet Hereafter, he was often overlooked, relegated to supporting roles while less talented actors soared. His personal life was equally complex. His marriage endured, but his battle with obesity and diabetes took a toll on both his health and his relationships. As the years passed, health complications mounted, making even simple tasks exhausting. He spent his final years in a fragile state, watching his career slip further away. On July 27, 2010, kidney failure claimed his life at 61, a quiet exit for a man whose presence on screen had always been larger than life. Jimmy Herman played Stone Calf at 50, a steadfast warrior whose strength and pride symbolized the resilience of his people. A Canadian-born Indigenous actor, Herman fought to bring authenticity to Native American portrayals, but Hollywood only saw him as a background figure, never granting him the recognition he deserved. The frustration of being typecast wore on him, and though he remained a devoted father, his children often felt the burden of his unfulfilled ambitions. His marriage, once strong, fractured under financial struggles and his increasing disillusionment with the industry. As his career faded, so did his health, and he spent his later years in obscurity, battling illness and solitude. On September 13, 2013, he passed away at 72, his death receiving little media attention, a final, cruel reminder of the industry's indifference to the man behind the warrior. Donald Houghton played General Tide in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 57, portraying a calculating and strategic military leader whose cold decisions dictated the fates of many. Off-screen, his own fate was equally merciless. Though he had a respectable career in theater and film, he never achieved leading man status, forever relegated to minor roles in projects that failed to leave a lasting impact. His personal life was a lonely one, twice married, twice divorced, his relationships crumbled under the weight of his professional insecurities. He had one son, whom he barely knew, as his relentless work schedule left little room for fatherhood. In his final years, he withdrew from the world, suffering from declining health and growing depression. When he passed away on April 14, 1999, at 66, it was without fanfare, his death another quiet exit in a life that had long been overshadowed by the disappointment of unrealized dreams. Wayne Grace played Major in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 50, portraying a cold, disciplined military officer who embodied the merciless rigidity of the U.S. Army's expansionist policies. Despite a strong career in television and film, he remained largely in the shadows, forever typecast as authority figures, rarely given the chance to showcase emotional depth. Hollywood never truly embraced him, and he spent years struggling for recognition, watching younger, more charismatic actors surpass him. His personal life was equally bleak. His marriage to his wife, Ellen, was strained by his professional disappointments, leading to a bitter divorce. His two children, Daniel and Emily, became distant, unable to reconcile with his growing resentment and anger at a career that never reached its potential. A long struggle with bladder cancer left him weak and in constant pain, and by the time he passed away on August 13, 2022, at 82. Steve Rivas played Sue No. 1 in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 28, portraying a proud, fearless warrior who symbolized the enduring strength of his people. Yet, in reality, his life was one of constant struggle. As a Native American actor in Hollywood, roles were scarce, and the industry's systemic racism left him fighting for even the smallest opportunities. Despite his talent, he was often overlooked, forced to take bit parts in films that exploited rather than honored his heritage. He married Masel Rivas, and though their love was strong, their financial hardships created unbearable strain. They had 4 children, whom he adored but struggled to provide for. Health issues plagued him in his later years, and though the official cause of his death on December 7, 2017, at 55 was never publicly disclosed, rumors of financial ruin and undiagnosed illness surrounded his final days. Doris Leader-Charge played Pretty Shield in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 60, portraying a wise and nurturing elder whose presence embodied the spirit of her people. But her real-life struggles mirrored those of many Native American women, fighting for recognition, respect, and the preservation of her culture. A dedicated educator, she spent her life teaching the Lakota language, but Hollywood saw her as nothing more than an authentic face for a role. She was married, though her union was far from happy. The pressures of cultural erasure and financial instability took a heavy toll. With no children to carry on her legacy, she feared her efforts would die with her. In her later years, illness and exhaustion weakened her, and by the time she passed away on February 20, 2001, at 70, She had been largely forgotten by an industry that had once celebrated her, leaving behind a life filled with battles few had ever truly acknowledged. Kevin Costner played Lieutenant Dunbar in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 35, portraying a disillusioned soldier who finds a new sense of purpose among the Sioux. The film's massive success turned him into an A-list star, but fame came with crushing pressures. While he enjoyed early triumphs with The Bodyguard and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, his career soon spiraled due to box office disasters like Waterworld and The Postman, nearly bankrupting him. His personal life fared no better. His 16-year marriage to Cindy Silva ended in an $80 million divorce, and his second marriage to Christine Baumgartner dissolved in 2023 after a bitter legal battle over finances and child custody. Costner also suffered betrayal from business partners, losing millions in failed ventures, and battled against Hollywood's changing landscape. Now, in 2025, at 70, he clings to acting and directing, but the golden days of his career are long gone, leaving him a shadow of the icon he once was. Graham Greene played Kicking Bird in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 38, bringing wisdom and dignity to the role of the Sioux medicine man. Though the film gave him worldwide recognition, it also led to typecasting, with Hollywood offering him only roles that fit its narrow view of indigenous actors. Despite a steady career, he struggled with frustration, watching less talented actors receive acclaim while he remained on the fringes. Alcoholism took hold in his darker years, a way to numb the pain of being undervalued and misunderstood. Though his marriage to Hilary Blackmore endured, it was strained by his battles with depression and self-doubt. He continued working, but always as a supporting character, never the leading man. In 2025, at 72, he remains a respected but largely overlooked figure, his name known but his talents never fully appreciated by an industry that used him when it was convenient. Mary McDonnell played Stands with a Fist in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 38, portraying a woman torn between two worlds, much like her own experience in Hollywood. Despite her Oscar-nominated performance, she remained trapped in supporting roles while younger, less talented actresses were elevated. Though she found later success on television in Battlestar Galactica, the film industry's obsession with youth left her struggling for work. Her personal life mirrored her career's ups and downs. Married to actor Randall Mell, their relationship suffered under the strain of Hollywood's pressures, leading to an eventual, quiet separation. She endured years of being overlooked, her immense talent ignored by an industry that valued novelty over experience. Now, in 2025, at 72, she lives away from the public eye, her legacy respected but her career never fully realizing the heights it once promised. Rodney Grant played Wind in His Hair in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 31, portraying a proud warrior who comes to respect Dunbar. Behind the scenes, his life was scarred by trauma. Taken from his family as a child and placed in foster care, he grew up disconnected from his roots, struggling with identity and belonging. His breakthrough in Dances with Wolves should have led to stardom, but Hollywood had little use for native actors beyond cliches, offering him only repetitive, stereotypical roles. Struggling to support his children, he faced financial difficulties and was forced to take jobs outside of acting. Multiple failed relationships left him feeling isolated, and as roles dried up, his presence in Hollywood faded. Now, in 2025, at 66, he lives a reclusive life, a man whose potential was never fully realized, another victim of an industry that never truly embraced him. Tantoo Cardinal played Black Shawl in Dances with Wolves in 1990 at the age of 40, portraying a compassionate and steadfast woman within the Sioux tribe. Her real life was a reflection of the resilience she brought to her roles, yet it was also marred by profound hardship. A survivor of the Canadian residential school system, she carried the deep scars of a childhood stripped of identity and love. Despite her undeniable talent, Hollywood repeatedly relegated her to secondary roles, rarely allowing her the spotlight she deserved. Her personal life was no less tumultuous. She married 3 times, each ending in pain, and bore children she struggled to raise amid the chaos of a demanding industry. Though she continued to advocate for indigenous representation, the years took their toll. Now, in 2025, at 74, she remains a symbol of perseverance but also a stark reminder of how talent alone is not enough to shield one from the tragedies of life. Who's your favorite character from Dances with Wolves? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.